All right. So on our homework last night, we were supposed to work each of these problems. I'm just going to work them out real quick as you check them. If you have something different, raise your hand. We'll talk about it. Remember, the numbers in our work, they might not be the exact same, but our answers and the numbers we use to get our answers should match, okay? So on number 1, when I set number 1 up, when I see 16, I automatically think of 2 times 8. So I'm going to split 16 into 2 times 8. Remember, once we split it, we want to mark it out so we don't use it again. Then I'm going to split 8 into 2 times 4. And I'm going to mark it out once I split it. And I'm going to split 4 into 2 times 2. All right? Those might not be the exact numbers you used. But in the end, on this side, we should have a 2, a 2, a 2, and a 2. So I should have 4 2s over here. Javon? That's absolutely fine. So even though you did it reverse, do you still have 4 2s on that side of the bar? Then that's perfect, okay? So over here, I'm going to do 2 times 6. Again, some people did 3 times 4. That's fine. Because now my 6 is going to split into 2 times 3. Again, marking those numbers out when I split them. For GCF, GCF is only what they have in common. So right now, I have a 2 here and a 2 here. So my GCF, I have 2. All right. I also have another 2 on this side and another 2 on that side. So both sides have how many 2s?
4.
Both sides have 2 2s, correct? So I'm going to do 2 2s for my GCF. 2 times 2 is 4. So my GCF is 4. For GCF, do I care about what's left over? No. So GCF is only what matches. All right, on number 2, we should have split 4 into 2 times 2. 30 is going to split into 2 times 15. All right, some people might have done 5 times 6. That might have been better. All right, Hunter, question?
Oh, for number 1, I got 8.
You got 8? All right, so when you multiplied, did you multiply 3 2s?
I multiplied 4.
All right, so will you bring me your work real quick, Hunter? Bring me your work. Let me see what's going on. All right, because I'm going to actually show this in the video because it's really important because I've seen some people get some funky numbers here. All right, so right here when you're splitting this, we did 4 times 4, which is good. On this 4, right here, we have 2 times 2. And then on this 4, I have 2 times 2, right? Okay, here you have 4 times 3. That's good. All right, I think what's happening, Hunter, you got to make sure that we keep that line. You said these 2's match, and you said these 2's match. All right, we don't want to do all of those 2's. Okay, I'm not saying 4 2's. I'm saying there are 2 right here. There's 1 match, so that's 1 2. Right here, there's 1 match, so that's 1 2. Does that make sense? So you don't want to put all of them there. You just want to put the match. Yes.
For number 2, I did do 30 times 3 with that.
That's fine. So you did 3 times 10, and then your 10 split up into a 2 and a 5. So we still end up with 2, 3, and 5, both of us, okay? All right, so on number 2, when I look at number 2, what matches? Just that 2. Does anything else match? No, so my answer here is going to be 2. All right, for number 10, we should have that 10 split. Guys, I split mine into 2 times 5. That's really the only option. If you do 5 times 2, it doesn't matter. That's fine. All right, 22, 2 times 11, or 11 times 2. Same thing. What do these 2 have in common?
2.
The 2, so my GCF is 2. All right, making sure you're checking your work. If we've missed something, make sure we're fixing it. All right, number 4. Number 4 was a little bit challenging because of that number 39. All right, some people were like, 39's prime, but it's not. We can use 3. 3 will go into 3 once, and 3 will go into 9 3 times. So 3 times 13 is 39. Now, can I split 3 and 13? No. All right, 18 we can split. I've seen a lot of people put 2 times 9 here. So I'm going to use that because this is where I've seen mistakes. And then people will just leave that 9 and think, oh, 9 is prime. 9's not prime. What can 9 split into? 3 times 3. Thank y'all for raising your hand back there. Thank you. I didn't get to call on you because we had some people call it out faster. Raise your hand, please. All right. Right here, do we see how they only have 1 3 that matches? There's only 1 3 that matches. since they both have 1, 3, I'm only writing 3 once, right, Hunter? Right? Okay. All right. Is there anything else that matches here? No. Nope. Am I using these 2 3s? No, because they're on the same side, right? Can I make it a match if they're already on the same side together? No. All right, my answer here is just 3. Good. All right, 24, I'm going to split that into 2 times 12. And then I'll do 12 into 2 times 6. And then I'll do 6 into 2 times 3. Guys, you're going to notice I like using 2 because it's easy for me to double numbers. Thank y'all. Yes, Javon? You put 3 times 8. That's fine. And then you split your 8 up. Make sure we split our 8 up. Jet? No, you don't have to put it in that order. That's just, my brain just automatically lines stuff up. I like things like orderly, but it doesn't have to be that way. That's just Miss Sawyer's brain way of doing stuff. Okay? All right, so then I'm going to do 15 over here. Just for you, I'm going to write 5 times 3 because it doesn't matter. We can put the big one first. All right. All right. What do these two have in common? What do these have in common? Trip? 3. So my GCF here is 3. All right, I'm going to speed it up when we go through the next ones because remember, you're checking your work. If you have a question about one, raise your hand. That's the only reason I'm going to call on you is because I'm going to think you have a question, okay? So 27 will split. I'm going to do 3 times 9, and then I can split 9 into 3 times 3. 24, I can split that into 3 times 8. All right, and Javon, this is what you were doing earlier. 8 would split into 2 times 4, and then 4 would split into 2 times 2. Okay. All right, Camilla, question? 4 times 6 is fine. At the end, you should have 1, 3, and 3 2s. Is that the numbers that you have at the end of your problem? 1, 3, and 3 2s? What do you have at the end of yours? Right, but then your 4, did you split up your 4? That would have given you those 2 other 2s, right? Okay. So right here, they have a 3 in common. That's the only thing I see is 1, 3 matching. So that is my GCF here. All right, number 7. 3 is prime. 3 can't split up. So I'm just splitting up 42, which is 7 times 6. Or you could write 6 times 7. Then 6 would split up into 3 times 2 or 2 times 3. All right, when I'm looking at this, I only have one match. 3 was the only number over here, and it happened to match, so that's good. Jet? You could have done 21 times 2, yes. All right, because then we're still going to split 21 into 3 times 7, so we'll find that 3 that matches still. Okay, all right. Let's look at 9, and then don't let me forget to move it up. I'm sorry, number 8. I'm splitting 9 into 3 times 3. True?
Is that if I did 14 times 3 on number 7?
Yes, it is okay. That is some outside the box thinking. I like that. All right. So he said he did 14 times 3. That's one that probably none of the rest of us thought about, but it works. So that's good. Good. All right. Right here, I have 1 3 that matches. Anything else that matches? No. So my GCF is 3. All right. I'm going to move it down so I can make sure we see 9. 9. I'm splitting 12 into 2 times 6. 6 splits into 2 times 3. All right. Anything else there? Jet, did you have a question? It just kind of worked out that way. Your homework today is a lot better than what's going on here. All right. Number 9, I have a 2 that matches. So I have a 2 that matches. I also have a 3 that matches. So what am I going to do with those 2 numbers? Noah?
2 times 3.
I'm going to multiply them, and that gives me 6. All right. Kaylin? Are we good? Okay. All right, so that's my GCF. GCF, you only pick what they have in common. when we move over here and do LCM, we also need what's left over. So remember that LCM means we do what's left over as well. Can we see that? Good. LCM also do what's left over. All right, number 1 over here, I have 15 and 8. 15 splits into 3 times 5, which won't go any further. 8 splits into 4 times 2, and then I split 4 into 2 times 2. Okay. Is there anything in common here? Anything in common at all? No, so I'm only going to worry about what's left over. So I have 3 times 5, that was left over. And I also have 2 times 2 times 2. When I multiply all of that out, we should get 120. All right? If you have these numbers but you didn't get 120, you probably made a mistake in your multiplication. All right. Number 2, we have 30, which is 5 times 6, and then 6 is 3 times 2. 5, will 5 split up? No. Guys, do y'all realize, like, hopefully maybe we noticed this last night, the more you do it, the faster you get at splitting them up. Did anyone realize like they were getting a little bit faster towards the end of their homework? Good. Sort of. Okay. So right here, what do they have in common? 5. Guys, since they both have 1 5, I can only use that 5 once. So they both have a 5, so I'm going to do 5 times. All right, this time it is LCM, so what's left? Maribel? Yeah, Maribel? 3 and 2. And when I multiply those out, we should get 30. All right, Maribel?
I have a question.
Yes.
I do 10 times 3, and that gives me the same answer. Right?
Yes. Yes. That's correct. So she did 10 and 3 here, and then we split up our 10 into 5 and 2. That's perfect. Okay, Tivit? Okay. All right, so 20, we have 2 times 10, and then 10 is 2 times 5, and 2 is already done, right? Okay, so right now, what do those two have in common? A 2, so I'm going to use 2 once, and what was left over? The 2 and the 5, or you could have done 5 and 2. It doesn't matter which order you do those in. When I multiply them, I get 20. How are we doing on these? Thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle? Cool. Good deal. All right. Number 4. All right, I have 3 to split up, but can 2 split? No. So I'm going to split 20 into 4 times 5. So this is another option for 20. Here I did 2 and 10. I'm going to do 4 and 5 over here. 4 is 2 times 2. All right. 15 splits up into 5 times 3. All right. For LCM, what do they have in common? These two have a 2. Do y'all agree with that? So these two have a 2. All right, and then these two have a 5. Okay, and then what's left over? The 2 and the 3. All right, so real quick, I want to talk about this. So LCM, we like LCM because it's just what's left. It's easy. You use all your numbers, right? I think LCM, to me, it's more numbers, but I think it's a little bit easier because you just use everything. Are y'all okay with that? GCF was picky, right? GCF can only be what they have in common. Do y'all agree with that? On GCF, because you're going to have this on your work today, so listen, everyone's listening. Eyes up here. Okay. On GCF, it has to be in all 3. So remember how we had GCF can only be what they share? If there are 3 of them, all of them have to share it. For LCM, was it that way? No, I could pair up 2 and 2. That only matched in 2 of them. 5 and 5 only matched in 2 of them. All right? For GCF, it would have to be in all 3 columns. Are we okay with that? Do y'all understand what I'm saying? We're going to look at one in a minute that I'll show you. I think it's down towards the bottom. All right? For GCF, it has to be in all 3 columns. For LCM, we can just match it and then use what's left over, okay? All right, Jet, question?
For number 3, I got 10.
For number 3, we got 10. All right, can you bring me your work real quick? All right, quick. All right, I want you to make sure you're looking at number 5, seeing if we can fix it. Do you mind if I put your work up here real quick?
Okay. That's fine.
All right, so right here, Jet, I want you to look right here. So you did your 2's, right? and then you did your 5, you forgot this 2 that was left over. Okay, there we go. All right, so just be careful about that work. All right, number 5. Let's look at 5 and 6 real quick. We're kind of breezing through these. Number 5, we split into 2 times 6. 6 splits into 2 times 3. 4 splits into 2 times 2. What do they have in common? Both sides have 2 2's, right? So I'm going to put the 2 2's that both sides have. And what's left over? Times 3. So that's going to give me 12. All right, 15 will split into 3 times 5. Question, Javon? All right, bring your work up here. Let me look at it. Okay. This is number 5. Don't go anywhere. All right, number 5. All right, here's your work, right, Javon? Can y'all see that? Kind of. I know the pencils sometimes don't show up good. All right, so you have these 2's that matched, right? So that's 2. Then I have these 2's that matched, right? So that's 2. And then I just have 3. So you just wrote in an extra 2 that wasn't needed. Okay? Make sure when you're doing that time symbol, it's not at the bottom. We don't want it to look like a decimal, okay? All right. All right, on number 6, they have a 3 in common. So I'm going to write that 1 3 that they share. I'm going to write it once. So I have 3 times, what's left? 5 and 2, which gives me 30. All right, 2 and 3. Can 2 and 3 split? No. So what's left? 2 times 3, which gives me 6. So that one's pretty easy. All right, number 8, 30 is going to split into 2 times 15. 15 is going to split into 3 times 5. Okay. 12 is going to split into 3 times 4, and 4 will split into 2 times 2. If you split that a different way, that's okay. If you did 2 times 6, we'll still get the same thing. Just make sure you split up your 6 as well. All right, right now they have a 2 in common. So I have 2 times a 3. Do y'all see my 3 that they have in common? I almost missed it just now. So they have a 3 in common. And then what's left? A 2 and a 5. Y'all can't see it? Sorry. Better? Okay, so then we also have that 2 and that 5. All right, so when we multiply those out, we should get 60. We should get 60. All right, the last 2 in number 10 is really important. I want us to talk about it. On 9, we have 2 times 2 for 4. 24, 2 times 12, 2 times 6, 2 times 3. Are y'all okay with how fast I'm making those trees? We should be just checking our work. All right. So from here, I have 2 2's that match. So I have a 2 that match. Then I have another 2 that matches. So that's my 2 2's. What's left over? Another 2 and another 3 that didn't have a match. So 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. Times 3 is 24. All right, number 10. This is the one that I wanted to talk about. Let's split it up. 20 is 5 times 4. 4 is 2 times 2. Can y'all see where I'm working that? Okay. 30, we can do 6 times 5. And then 6 is 2 times 3. And then 5, can I split that? All right. If we were doing GCF, are we doing GCF? No, but if we were doing GCF, it has to be in all 3 columns, correct? Is there a number in all 3? Maribel? 5. So do y'all see where I have 5 in all 3? That would be my GCF. Would I do anything else? No. What if they had more than one number in all 3? I would multiply them. So like if all 3 had a 5 and all of them had a 2 in here, I would do 5 times 2 to get my answer because all of them had the 5 and the 2. Does that make sense? All right. Is this GCF, though? No. No. All right. Do y'all see how I circled the 5 because all of those 5s match? I'm still only going to write that 5 once. Even though it's in all 3, how many did all 3 have? Just 1 5, right? So we need 1 5. All right. Anything else that matches? 2. Javon? 2. So these 2's right here are in different columns, correct? On GCF, could I use those? No, it has to be in all 3, but for LCM we can. Make sure we're paying attention to that. All right, so I get 2, and what's left? A 2 and a 3. Okay, 5 times 2 is 10, times 2 is 20, times 3 is 60. All right, guys. So that was our homework from last night. My classes in the afternoon, we went over every single one. If you have more questions, please come and see me tomorrow morning. I'll be on the 300 hallway at duty. I need for everyone right now to get out a piece of paper. Everyone to get out a piece of paper. Everyone to get out a piece of paper. Here's my paper. All right, the way that I'm going to do this is going to be kind of weird because, again, my afternoon classes that I'm not in the room for, I have advanced and regular, so you're going to kind of get a little bit of extra information. You only need to write down what is important to you. All right, so for my regular math 6, I'm going to write it down on here. You don't have to write down regular math 6, okay? All right, regular math 6. On the top left-hand side of your paper, we're going to write down page 12, because that's the page in our textbook our homework is on. If we don't finish in class, where are you going to look when you get home? Page 12 in your textbook. I'm going to even write down textbook just in case so we know where to look. All right. The numbers that you're going to do. Numbers. Remember that hashtag symbol means numbers. You're going to do 1 through 9. And you're going to do 13 through 21. Okay. All right, so make sure you're writing that down. For my advanced class, I'm going to go ahead and write this up here. So if you are in my afternoon advanced class, this is what I want you writing at the top of your paper. You're going to write page 12. And you are going to do numbers 1 through 25. Remember, if you're not in advanced, you're copying down the top line. If you're in advanced, these are the problems that you're doing. All right? If you're in my regular class and you want to try those extra ones, try a couple of word problems. They're awesome. All right, make sure you put your name on your paper over on the left-hand side, right-hand side. And today's date is 9/25/18. In our binder, this will be number 20. Okay? So I'm going to leave that up there while you get that written out. I'm going to pass out a copy of our work, of that book page. Do you get to take this home with you? No, because at your house you have a textbook. This is just to use while you're in class. Just to use while you're in class, so get that copy down. All right, guys, we are going to look at the first couple together just to make sure we're setting everything up correctly on our paper. So make sure you number 1. All right, number 1, and the numbers we're looking at on 1 are 8 and 14. All right, and I'm still going to draw my line in between them. But did you notice I gave myself a little bit more space than what was on that other piece of paper? All right. On here, on number 1, do you see where it says find the greatest common factor? So what am I looking for?
Greatest common factor.
GCF. Remember, you do not write on these papers. Do not write in your book, okay? I'm just doing that so we can see that, okay? GCF, correct? All right. Either way, we're going to start by splitting. 8 is going to split into? What's 8 going to split into, Noah?
4 times 2.
We can do 4 times 2, and then I can split, I'm going to mark out 8 because I split it. Then I can split 4. Tony, what can I split 4 into?
4
2 times 2. Excellent. Okay. All right, now I'm going to split 14. What's 14 going to split into, Kelsey? 7 times 2. Can I split that anymore, Kelsey? No, 7's prime, 2's prime. All right, now, Rodrigo, I know you were not here, but I'm gonna ask you a question, okay? You ready? Ready for me? All right, for GCF, we only want to know what they have in common. What number is on both sides of this bar? What is one number that's on both sides? 2. So I have a 2 here and a 2 here, correct? right? Do I have any other numbers on both sides? No. So do I need to put anything else with that?
No.
So what's my answer?
2.
2. Do y'all see how neat my work is and how it's labeled that this is the GCF? That's what I want to see on your paper. I'm going to do number 2 next to it because I do have some space right there. So I'm going to do number 2. Number 2 is 15 and 20. All right. Gray, what can 15 split into? 3 times 5. Awesome. I'm going to mark that out. What can 20 split into? True?
5 times 4.
We can do 5 times 4. All right. Can I split this any more? Hunter?
2 times 2.
4 can become 2 times 2. And remember, once I split it, I'm marking it out so I don't accidentally use it. Okay. We're doing our GCF. All right. Do they have any numbers in common on both sides? Javon?
Yes, 5.
They both have a 5. Y'all see my 5? So I have a 5. All right. Is there anything else that they have in common? What about these 2's? Those match. Why can I use these 2's?
No.
Camilla? They're not on opposite sides. They're already together. We can't match those. All right. Very good. So that's my GCF. Remember, if there were 2 numbers that match, we would just multiply them together. All right. So that should give you a good start. Please remember, guys, GCF is only what's in common. LCM is also what's left. So that has that L in common for LCM and what's left, okay? All right. You have the rest of the period to work on your homework. Please remember that at the end of the period we will pass out my worksheet so I can keep those for the next class.